Okay, so today gonna be solving Leetcode daily problem, like this one. Let me read that one. Okay, so my idea now is to use BFS and like calculate the distance like from the node, let's say here in this example, from node 0 and to all other nodes, and also calculate the distance from node 1 to all other nodes. And then I have like two arrays of distances for the from current to node 0 and from current to node 1, or like reversed, because like it's direct draw from node 1 to current nodes distances, and from node 0 to current node distances. And then I can traverse this arrays and then figure out like what the minimal distance, what the minimum distance for the maximum of those two values if both distances are populated. So like if the node is reachable from both nodes, I need to figure out what the maximum distance, and then check out what the maximum distance between like first and second node, like from first to current and from second to current, get the maximum, and then I need to calculate global minimum and return the index, this index of index sign. Okay, so I'll have this function. So first I'll save the graph. So I have hash, even I can have this array list. Even I can have the what? Can I know then n equals edges length, and then I'll have this in graph equals new int. Yeah, new int n, and then for int I equals 0, I less than n, I plus plus, and then gi gonna be -1, and then for int I equals 0, I less than edges, I less than n, I plus plus, and now I'm gonna do this. So basically I can use this edges instead of like reusing graphs. I can use this edges. Yeah, edges. And then I can do the BFS private int BFS int G, and then int start, then not start, and then I'll have this queue, let's say boolean visited equals new boolean g length so it and it's gonna be eg length, and then n, and then v, and then q, let's say visited start gonna be true, and then q integer q equals new length list, then q dot offer start, so, while, and then I'm gonna have the distances, int d equals new int n, and then for int I equals 0. Okay, so initially int I equals 0 other than n plus plus, and then di gonna be -1, and then while not empty q is empty, while q is not empty, I'm gonna get the q dot poll, and then int v gonna be q poll, and then while q, let's say int well gonna be q dot size for int I 0 other than 11 plus plus, and then gonna be dist equals 0 initially, then every time we traverse all the current queue elements, I'm gonna increment the distance. So here I'm gonna do this int v equal q dot poll, and then if not visited g if g v not equal -1, and visited if that next node wasn't visited, I'm gonna go int next v equals gv. If next v is not equal -1 and it hasn't been visited, then I'm gonna do this visited v equals true, and then q dot offer next v, and then every time I poll, I'll go d dot v equal dist, like that. And then I'm gonna return the array d, return d here, and that's gonna be the distances from the start to all other nodes in G. And then I'm gonna do this twice. Int d1 equals bfs G node 1, or like node edges, and then into D2 gonna be the same BFS edges node 2, and then for int, let's say I'm gonna go for int equals 0 ls int globe say res equal -1, and then I less than n I plus plus if d1 I not equal -1 and d2 I not equal -1. Let's say if either of them is equal -1, I'm just gonna continue, and then if both of them are not equal -1, I'm gonna check if res is equal -1, I'm gonna just record res equal max d1i d2i, otherwise res gonna be max res math mean between res, and then this one and then I'm gonna return the result. So this should be it. Let me quickly check. So we run BFS here. I have visited array I populate distance with -1s, and then I start BFS from the start, and then I check the queue size and then pull all the queue size, pull love elements from the queue, and then I'm gonna get the populate the distance of the current one, and then get the next and check if it hasn't been visited. If it's not -1 and has been visited, I mark it as visited and offer it to the queue, and then when I am traversing love elements, I increment the distance, and then in the end I return the distance array. And here I go to traverse the distance distance from node 1 to all other elements, and distance from node 2 to all other elements, and then if current node is reachable from node 1 or node 2, if it's not reachable I continue, if it's reachable I update the result, and oh, I need to return actually the index. Okay, that's it. I can definitely save some time not doing like second BFS, and like just like I can do this check in a second BFS. Yeah, so I can save some time here. Yeah, that's what they do, probably. Okay, I'm gonna stop recording now.